also let's get some Kerbal action in. Now, this is a particular mission that I've been doing. Now, first of all, if you are having trouble with this game and you don't know about this, Google, and I mean just go to Google and Google MechJeb as shown just there, and this will give you a nice autopilot for a range of things. It's a module that you have to fit to your ship, and then it gives you the ability to do autopilot. If you're a kind of bumbling, kind of clown like I am, then you can probably fly as well as you can, but then when it comes to the very difficult orbital stuff, it just completely goes over my head. So MechJeb is a fantastic autopilot, and I think pretty much most people use it now, but don't use it for everything. Try and get used to the various flights and taking off manually and all that, and it will do you some good. Now let's talk about this mission. This mission is to build an ISS, an International Space Station. Similar to the one around Earth, this is really going to be something that we have to build in stages. Again, the beauty of this game is, well, it's you have to build things in stages. So naturally, this is stage 1, and we're trying to put this thing in orbit to basically then couple up with a number of other items. So that's the plan, as you see burning through the sky, 100 degrees, and oh dear, bugger. Oh well, back to the drawing board. Now again, the thing to bear in mind is you'll commonly lose stuff. It will happen. So here we go, this is round 2, so this is where we managed to actually get to our final stage, and I think we're not too far from actually having a centrical orbit. Oh, actually, yes, we're far away. So what I need to do now is to burn, I guess, 90 degrees to the horizontal to actually start pushing our orbit out. I mean, the game is wonderful. It's so rooted in real-world physics. So what we really have to do here is actually create a circular orbit, and then we can build upon that. Now, the ISS around Earth orbits at, I think, around 400 kilometers above the surface, so we'll copy that. But first off, let's just try and get this thing into orbit. Now the beauty of these games is there's no real limit to what you can build. There is a limitation to what you can actually get up into space, but build everything in a modular way and you'll have the ability to link it all together. So you see the thing on the front there, and you see it's obviously got solar panels, so this is for power, and really this is what will drive this space station. Now again, you have to fit things like monopropellant. So you've got your thrusters, you've got your main engines, they're what give you obviously the most power, but you then also need to have thrusters to be able to move, and they require fuel, etc, etc. So again, I guess we've jumped straight into the deep end here, but I think that's the best way to play, to be honest. So here we go, we're just trying to increase our orbit somewhat, so we're almost there, and you can see there that's the high point of our orbit. And then we've got the low point, and you basically, again, you probably know this, but the way that you increase or decrease your orbit is by burning either with or against the orbit at the other end. Okay, so if I'm at the north end of the orbit, I then burn, and if I burn with the orbit, I then increase the south end of the orbit, and vice versa. Okay, and if you don't understand what I said there, just let MechJeb do it for you. So this is really, I think, the key part of this mission is to get 2 of these. These are just the same modules, a little bit different, a little bit, structured slightly differently, but effectively the same, and we're going to join them up, and then we can start to add more and more ships to it. Now, the reason that I would recommend an ISS is because, to be honest, the only way to fuel some of your larger ships that go off to the further planets, you kind of need to get them out of the orbit, then to the space station where you can then refuel. And I won't show you in this mission, but maybe the next episode I'll show you that what we have as a space tanker. We have a very big ship that basically can take off and land with these orbiting ships and refuel them and then drop back down to the planet. So it's incredibly detailed, but I love it. I love the fact that it's rooted in real world quoted science. And I think certainly the key thing around this particular thing is if you've got an ISS that you can actually dock your ships at, you can basically refuel, you can also transfer crew, you can transfer everything really. So there we go, mission partly successful. We've got module 1 in space, and now we're going to push module 2. So same again, same modules, same process, we're launching. I've let the autopilot do this one as well. And this then will kind of, it'll get you into a very nice orbit. As long as you basically angle at 90 degrees, Oh, and it's always dangerous when these things explode, but luckily it didn't damage the ship. And then we can kind of get these two starting to be linked up. Now, again, the linking of the ships is phenomenally difficult. The autopilot will do so much. I know you can make the autopilot do everything, but I think there's a bit of a lack of challenge there. So what I like to do is use the autopilot to get you close, and then it's your skill with the thrusters, forward, back, up, down, left, right, to get actually to the final docking point. And to be honest, I think really if you're going to dock, I wouldn't use the autopilot for that. I'd actually use your eye, because your eye is a bit less clunky, let's say. But here we go. So now we need to align the orbits. Now again, this is always done through a bit of physics, a bit of science. A higher orbit will always orbit slower than a lower orbit. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So if you're spinning around the planet faster, or rather closer, you're going faster, and if you're further away, you're going slower. Okay, so obviously just the, I think it's pi r squared is that, and that's like the, to be honest, I confuse myself even when I'm saying that, but there you go. So really it's just about, having an orbit that you can then obviously, reduce the size of your orbit, spin around faster, then increase it and rendezvous with the target. And hopefully you see there the two little icons, these sort of orange and purple icons. That's where we're looking to then meet. So those are the encounters, and whenever you have an encounter, that's when you can basically get very close to the target and then burn towards it and then start to dock or meet with it. And I think really, if you're gonna get used to this game, again, use MechJeb, it will help you. But if you're gonna get used to the game, then become familiar with the controls, become certainly familiar with the icons on the control panel at the bottom right, bottom center, because you need to understand what the green, the blue, and the purple controls are, what they do and what they mean. Okay, and then once you figure that out, the whole game actually opens up, and before you know it, you won't necessarily use MechJeb for a great deal more. Certainly when you go into Planetary, you actually probably won't use MechJeb at all, to be honest with you. Anyway, so here we go. That's our mini lifter. That's our module number 1. We can rename these and reassign them as well. So these are currently vehicles. Once we get them connected, we can then actually label them in space stations as well. So the icon changes, and very nicely it becomes a base. Okay, so here we go, just burning slowly towards it. Now I'm going to speed a bit of this up because again it does take a huge amount of time, but it's just some of the most incredible stuff, and it is pretty realistic. So if I bang or bump it, then both ships are in real danger of exploding and damaged. If I damage the ship as well, debris will actually float around the planet that is even more risky. Okay, so it's just phenomenally cleverly done. So fast forwarded here. Now my original thought was I've actually got docking ports all over this ship. You can see there's some in the middle, then you can see there's some at the end as well. Now what I was going to do is maybe dock this at a right angle, but then I kind of realized actually that's kind of dumb. So I then switch over to and annoyingly we're at the dark side of the sun, but hey, that's the way it goes, or dark side of the planet, but we should be going through sunrise any moment. And just gradually, and again, it takes a fair bit of practice. And again, I didn't want to get the autopilot working to dock this, and nor could I. So it was really down to me. And if I balls this up, you've got a problem. Now, you can save. Press F5 to save and F9 to reload if you cock it up. Okay, so that's the only safety net you've got. But here we go. The docking ports are magnetic, so once they get close enough, they will snap. And hopefully you can see that ever so close. There we go, boom, we've docked. So there we go, we have the beginning of our ISS, and just as the sun rises in a nice silhouette style. And this is then our we've got 2 pilots on this at the moment, and what we can start to do is to we can firstly look at the solar panels. So I'm just going to speed this up, and we have a selection of solar panels. You don't have to open them all because they produce a huge amount of power. We also have ion drives on this as well, so that gives us a huge ability to move the ship, left and right. It's also got monopropellant, so we can actually use the thrusters, and it also has quite a bit of fuel left as well. So if I need to do a burn, now what I'm going to do with this space station is build another one and send it to the moon. But right now, this is ready to receive space tankers. So in terms of this as a mission, I would have to say that this is probably mission success. So there we go, hope you enjoyed that. Next time we'll show about space tankers and prepping to go to the moon. See you next time.